What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
And I'm Jason.
and this is Liquid Carnage. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm really good. It's been a good week, very productive week, which is always a nice thing. And as always, when we get to record and dive into what's affecting us in the world, it's always a refreshing remembrance of the great friendship that we have.
I
Wow,
completely
wow,
agree
that was pretty
because
deep. That was pretty deep.
it was very deep. But I have to admit, man, I so appreciate when you and I get to have a conversation because I think you and I have a lot of the same viewpoints on this
Yeah.
world, and I don't think a lot of other people that I know of will take the time to do the research and answer the questions from multiple sources like you do.
Yeah, I
And
try. I try.
you try, but that's more than most people do. And
Yeah.
I certainly appreciate that because, especially having to listen to everyone over the last week, whether it be about COVID or Afghanistan, it's mind numbing. I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people speaking so one sided on in either direction and not looking for full truths. This whole world has got me close to burnout. You know,
You know what I keep throwing in my head? My dad uh, used to say this, and I've heard it in workplaces too. Don't drop a turd sandwich on the table and then expect me to take a bite. And I feel like there's a lot of like armchair quarterbacks out there who are saying, "Oh, well, he should have done this. He should have done this. He should have done this. Or he's doing this wrong. He's doing this wrong. They're doing this wrong." Well, what would you do differently? Oh, I don't know. Then
yeah,
shut your mouth. If you don't
yeah.
have anything constructive to say, then get the hell out of here.
I appreciate how so many people on social media will try to have a counter argument, and in some cases a very valid counter argument, but it falls on deaf ears because facts nowadays don't mean a thing. If it doesn't fit your narrative, we've been told that that's false news.
Oh, and I don't know about you, Scott, but there are a shit ton of people on Facebook, Instagram, who talk like they know everything about everything and sell it like obviously I'm into stock investing. You can't go on YouTube without some 21-year-old kid talking about how he has the surefire way to make $1 million.
Yeah,
You watch the video and it's always, well, you just buy this and you do this, and then when it goes up, you sell it and you do this. That's all. It's easy.
it's a
And
get
it's
rich
like,
quick
oh
scheme.
my God, dude, you're not an expert. You're
It's
barely out of high school. Shut up.
it's a get rich quick scheme, and what happens with that is I don't know if it ever actually works. Like maybe like one in 1,000 it works. I remember back in high school and college, my high school girlfriend, her little brother. This is back before we had the internet like we did now. We had cell phones. Her little brother took an ad out in the Las Vegas Review Journal on one of those. If you want to learn how to get rich quick, I can help. Call this number.
Okay.
And so he got a number, and he put this ad out there. And when people would call this number, he would say, okay, if you send me, I have a surefire way, a surefire plan. You send me $50, and I will send you my plan on how you could be on your way to millions. And
Okay.
a few people fell for it, and what it was they'd send him $50 or a check for $50, and he would send them a pamphlet saying, "You live in Las Vegas, go buy a case of water for $4 and take it to the strip and sell a bottle for $2. And if you have a 24 pack, you can net $44 per case of water you sell per day."
Okay. Wow.
And while he's not
Oh
wrong,
God. Yeah. Yeah.
if he's not wrong, if you get enough people to pay you $50 on how to get rich quick, only one person's getting rich quick, and that's still a relative term.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that everyone. I guess the frustrating part to me is I've gotten old enough now to realize that I could tell someone. Let's say I do actually learn how to make $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to sell it to you. I'm going to give it to you, Scott. I did this. Here's my bank account. Here's the $1 million I now have in my bank account. There is nothing in a step-by-step process of how to do something that can guarantee that if you follow these steps, you are going to become a millionaire yourself. Because there are so many intrinsic differences between you and me, whether it's emotional control, whether it's discipline, whether it's ability
Oh
to
yeah.
stay focused, that I can give you step by steps. That doesn't mean that you're going to be successful.
No, I agree completely, and I think
And
that's what some people don't realize. And I guess maybe that's the beauty of these get rich quick schemes.
well,
Um,
and maybe, maybe they just want to, I mean, maybe they did hit it big and got lucky and they just automatically think, well, I did it, so anyone can do it.
and I will applaud anyone that made it, their millions like that, and want to say, hey, if you want to be like me, this is how you do it. As long as it's not a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, there's
you
enough of
know,
those too. Yeah, there's
if you
enough of
know
those too.
if you have a way to save money, and the way you saved money was able to make you pay off your bills in X amount of time and put this much in the bank, good for you. And if you feel like that's a method that worked for you and somebody can learn from that and you want to put it on TikTok or Reels, more power to you.
Well,
But
it I
I
mean
guess you have
it
to consider your audience.
yeah, I mean, I guess it's hard for me, and maybe I need to change my mindset. It's really hard for me to get advice and lectured from a 21-year-old kid that doesn't even look like they wash themselves every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
hard for me to get excited about someone who's basically just trying to take their 15 minutes on, you know, I'm on the internet now. I can fit YouTube and you can see me anytime, and now I'm all famous and hip, and I they're
it,
almost laughable. It's almost like you cannot tell me that people are actually falling for this crap.
I feel like, whenever I get bored and I need a few minutes just to calm my mind at work, I'll thumb through the reels on Instagram, and they're funny. I always appreciate those with the dogs or
Okay.
whatever else. But you notice a trend after a while, and maybe it's the algorithm they put you on. But
Okay.
it seems like it's a lot of college age kids trying to teach you how to be, how to make money, or uh, I don't want to say stay at home wives, moms, whatever, but also multi-level marketing schemes. I can help you make thousands, or just watch this little dance, click on the link.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like I don't think this. Okay, I mean, I guess if you get someone to do it, but does it really work? And I'm like you. I look at these kids like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not paying attention to this kid. And I don't want to sound like an old man when I say that, but I think because of the way we were raised and we've had to climb ourselves up and use professionally through the corporate world, I think we view things differently. You know.
Well, and the thing I also think about is I compare these kids who are selling their system, right? This is like a
Mm-hmm.
$10,000 system, but I'm going to give it to you for $100 versus someone like Warren Buffett who doesn't have to sell his advice. He just freely gives it. Hey, if you want to do this, you need to do this and this and this and this. You don't have to pay me for it. Go do it. So it's a
Yeah.
little disingenuous when the kid is saying, "Oh, man, I'll teach you how to do it, but you have to pay me, you know, $50." Well,
You
if you're
know.
such a millionaire, then why do you have to be paid at all? You should be giving it out for
Yeah.
free.
And he'll tell you that's how you become a billionaire. But to Warren Buffett's credit, I think he understands the self discipline that comes with that you have to be able to do these things. And if you don't have that self discipline, man, I can tell you whatever you want to do in the world. But if you're not disciplined enough to go do these things, that's on you, pal.
Yeah, well, and like I said, that advice is free, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that
exactly.
you don't have to charge someone for the advice of, hey, if you want to be successful, you got to be disciplined. You got to put the work in.
And
That's
you
not
get
that
you pay.
you shouldn't be charging someone $100 to tell them that.
No, I agree. I agree.
But
You
like
know,
you
if
talked, I mean, we said it from the beginning. You and I are type of people that we just don't take something given to us at face value. We'll do some research. We'll make our own determination based on that research, and
yeah,
maybe that's the
it's
difference. Is that I'm not a 21-year-old kid that's just so gullible to say, oh, well, shoot, I'll just do this and let me pay my money. I'll be a millionaire, no problem.
yeah, and I think on paper, well, you're what? You're Gen X.
No, I'm uh, am I Gen
I
X?
think you're Gen X.
There's the baby boomers. I'm the one right underneath the baby boomers.
You're Generation X then.
Okay, so I guess I am Generation
because
X.
I on paper I guess millennials started like 1981.
Oh my gosh, Scott.
But but it depends on the argument. You're like 1979 to 81. It's like a weird bubble where you don't really belong. And Janice makes fun of me because she found an article that called me a geriatric millennial.
Well, that's true. You probably are.
Because
You're right on the
I
upper
because I
cusp.
lived
Yeah.
I lived without the internet. I lived without so many things that millennials require to have today.
Right.
But I think I'm more of a Gen Y,
Okay.
and I think if you say there's a little bubble between Gen X, Gen Y, the bubble, and then millennials, I think I can say I'm Gen Y. And I think Tom is the same generation.
Yeah, Tom might be. I know, like JP, Danielle are probably right at the end of Gen X. They're probably right at the end of Gen X.
Yeah, it's funny how the different generations use different forms of communication to push their message forward, and it's funny that we're talking about this today because we're recording this on a Monday, so it's the day after the Jake Paul Lamar Woodley fight in Cleveland, Ohio. I have zero interest in boxing. I'll be the first one to tell you. I could care less. But I woke up this morning and I'm scrolling through my phone as I'm getting my breakfast vitamins ready, and I see a video on my Facebook page of a dude knocking somebody out at the fight last night in the stands.
Okay.
And I was looking, I was like, huh, that guy looks familiar, but it's early, and
right.
I look at who posted it, and I look at the guy again. It's like, oh shit, that's our friend Matt Beans from Crespo's, who was on the show a few years back. Matt is an entrepreneur. I love Matt. I've known him since probably about 5-6 years now, since our Desert Sky Fitness days back in the original gym. Great kid, very driven. He's an entrepreneur, real estate investor. He just opened a skate shop on Mill Avenue called the Shred Club. You can rent electric skateboards and whatnot. But I think for his birthday, I'm assuming he and his boys went to Cleveland to go check out this fight. And this is how old I am. I had to do research on who Logan Paul was, or Jake Paul, or who these guys were. I forget which brother.
Now they're boxers, or are they MMA fighters?
They're YouTubers who talk shit, because this is what you find on the internet. They talk some shit to some people, challenged to a boxing match. Turned out they liked it, so now they're trying to become professional boxers. And I guess whichever brother this was is pretty good.
Okay.
So he's working, and like Lamar Woodley is I've heard of him in the boxing world before through Sports Center, so he was no slouch. And I guess Jake Paul won.
Logan Paul.
Either way, the Paul kid won.
One of the Paul kids won. Okay.
Yeah. And in there, I guess our friend Matt went to go watch it. Looked like he had a good time, and there's a video of a guy, much like the video we saw back in the Suns Nuggets series and the Western Conference semis for the NBA, where a guy with the high ground. If Star Wars taught us anything, always have the high ground.
Yes.
The guy had the high ground, talked some shit, and our boy Matt was holding this guy's wrist the entire time. You hear "fuck you," and then Matt just cold cocks this guy.
Oh, jeez.
He was down. Like this camera was probably, I'd say, 15, 20 feet away, and you could clear as day hear the connection.
Oh no! Oh God, no!
So it's like 5:45 in the morning. I'm in my kitchen, and I'm trying not to laugh because, holy shit! Like he got knocked the fuck out. I just hear Chris Tucker in the back of my head from Friday. It's like, man, you got knocked the fuck out. It's and then I started reading the comments, and deservedly so. Matt was proud of himself because he was defending himself. But I was thinking, wow, man, he's become a YouTube or a viral sensation, because since I saw it at 5:45 this morning on Monday, that has shown up on Barstool Sports. Michael Rappaport has retweeted this. It's on Not Sports Center. It is making the rounds as someone getting punched in a fight. And it is
my gosh. And we know him.
And Matt's a smart kid, so I'm interested to see how Matt turned off of it.
Yeah, he'll
You know?
probably take it and upload it or do something with it.
I mean,
And
you'd be dumb not to. But now, here's the difference in generations, though, and this is where I really start to sound old. I wouldn't know where to begin to do something like that with that kind of video. You know?
well, I don't know. I wouldn't know. First of all, I would see. I look at it. I would be totally embarrassed if I got caught in a fight at a place. So I'd
Yeah.
already be behind the 8 ball anyways, because I'd be like, oh, I want this off the internet. I don't want to acknowledge it. I'm embarrassed. Blah blah blah. Now, okay, so
Yeah, okay.
now fast forward 25 years, because I know I'm old as dirt, and now it's like, oh, how can we take this and make it famous, make ourselves famous?
And that's it. At his age, why not lean into it and make some money off it if you can?
How would you? That's the thing I don't never understand. How do you make money? Like, how do you make money off of these things going viral like that?
I don't know. From what I understand, I think if you get enough followers, and certain product companies will see how many followers you have, and if you pitch their product kind of followers, they can track sales. It's a long thing.
You remember
But
the
people
guy we
make
used
really
to work
people.
with? Yeah, the guy we used to work with who ran his own. He'd open up the boxes from like these box
Oh
memberships where
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
send you a
yeah.
box.
I
And I
found
was
him on
like,
YouTube randomly the other day. Yeah,
this guy
he's
just, I
still
mean,
doing that.
okay, and here's the thing. I thought it was totally ridiculous. I thought it was totally ridiculous. I watched one of the videos. I went, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. And yet he was getting responses and followers and people watching him. I bet he's monetized that thing now.
Oh, that was his. That was always his goal, was to monetize. Strictly do that. This dude was a pharmacist by trade.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's a
That's right.
pharmacist, and I randomly, we were laying in bed watching YouTube clips the other night, and his one of his videos popped up under suggestions, and I just started laughing because I had to tell Janice the story about this guy, because he was something else.
But I
You
was
know,
amazed that people watch, and it's like anything. You could be the most ridiculous person there is. If you get a million people to watch you, which a million people on the planet is a very small number, but a million people will spread that to a million people and a million people, and then you're worldwide, like Matt Beans is right now.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy how people do that, and I don't know the first thing on how to even do that. I'll be honest. If we could figure out how to do that,
We would have done that for us a long time ago.
yeah, I'd have done this for Liquid Courage on like day one had I known how to do that.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I know that there's got to be a secret. I think consistency is really important. You gotta really like Matt Beans. I'm sure he took that video, and I guess the good thing is that even though the video was owned by whoever took it, so someone else, he
Well, there's
has
multiple
access to the
angles
video.
because there's multiple videos.
Right. So he has access to that video that he can take it and do something with it, or does he have to pay the person who took the video?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, those are all great questions, and those are all
I
things
mean,
I don't know. I mean, because that's his likeness, because it's him.
right. Yeah. So, but I mean, does he owe the photographer money? Does he have to pay the guy he punched in the face? Like, you have to pay him now because he's part of the video too.
Yeah, I don't
And
know,
don't you
man. Like
think that
this,
the video is more valuable because he won the fight than if he had lost the fight? Like, if you lose the fight, is
what
that
would be
more
tied with the other
valuable
guy?
than? Yeah, is that more valuable if you lost the fight?
I mean, I guess that's all up to interpretation, and that's really what this is. This is all about interpretation of how you value these things. I don't really know.
Oh man, yeah. But 15 minutes
I
of
mean,
fame, I mean, it happens all the time, right? People get their
yeah, but
15 minutes of fame somehow.
I guess this means if we want to get famous, one of us has to punch the other. I mean, just think of the
Oh
headlines like
boy.
podcast co-host takes swing at other co-host. Click here for links. And
Well, I don't know. The big thing now is those YouTube videos where the people run up the crate or the mountain of crates, and everyone's like
yeah,
enjoying them because the people are falling and hurting themselves. And
yeah. Why the hell did you do that? And I know the EP is going to say that we're complete old men in this episode, and I think I'm fine with it at this point, because even he has to understand, why the hell would you do that?
no, but then again, are they doing it so that they get the notoriety that they can market that and sell it on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Like when
I
when NBC News pulls your video and shows you running up a mountain of crates and falling through and breaking your hip or whatever happens, there's got to be like you said, there's got to be a way to market that.
There's got to be. I mean, but I wouldn't know where to begin. And I wouldn't even know who to ask. And I'd have to go ask one of those dumb college kids who's trying to tell me how to become a millionaire. And sadly, that's probably what his video's on. And I don't acknowledge that kid might know more than me in this area, and I'm trying to be like him.
It's always so funny because it's easy for me to look at these young kids and just go, "Oh, you guys don't know crap about anything," and yet they're doing something that I can't do or I don't know how to
Yeah.
do. So they're doing
Well,
something.
I think that's the
That's it. I'm
stigma.
sorry.
I think that's the stigma, though. And it's the same thing that happened to us 20 years ago. Back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when you're talking to maybe your parents' friends and they asked what you were doing, you told them, like, why would you do that? That's dumb. But you were doing something they wouldn't have done. And now this is a generational thing.
Yeah, what was the thing that was kind of the up and coming thing when you were coming out where your parents were like, "Oh my gosh, that is like the stupidest thing"?
Oh, fuck.
I remember in our college, Amway was running around rampant on our campus. Like people were going to meetings and buying Amway packages so they could start being a distributor, and that was like the rage in the early '90s. And I was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I'll go to your meetings, I guess, but I don't. I just knew back then I'm not a salesman like that, so I didn't ever do it. But that was going on like crazy, and I remember my dad said, "Oh my God, that's a total scam. You can't do those." I said, "Oh, I know. I don't do it. Believe me, I don't."
Yeah, I think for me it had to be cell phones because they were just coming up. They were just really getting big.
Okay.
20 years ago, the technology was starting to advance, pre-iPhone, and we were just coming out of the phones they could play Snake on, the Nokias.
Yep.
And I think back then there was 4 major carriers: Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. And the Cricket came out right around then too, where you could pay monthly instead of signing up for a contract.
Okay.
And but if you go with this company, you could pay this much and have I think I had 50 anytime minutes and 900 night and weekend minutes for $60 a month.
Oh gosh,
so
that's right.
You're right. So you
Anytime
start playing.
and night. Yeah, oh God, I totally remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you start playing the who's got the better deal, and if you sign up with this one for the contract, you get this phone at this price, and then you just start playing those games. And I almost fell for it and went to work for Sprint before I got hired at the bank, way back when. But it's different generations have different things.
Yeah, like I mean, I remember that. Like I said, Amway was the big thing. All the young kids were like, "Oh, Amway's the way to go. That's how you're going to make your millions. Amway's the way to go." And then it was and when I was working at the Boeing company in the late '90s, it was, "Oh, if you want to become a millionaire, you got to buy the tech companies. You got to buy the tech companies. That's just, I mean, that's the way that's where you got to put your money." Well, what tech company? It doesn't matter. Any tech company, just buy it, and you'll be a millionaire. You'll just be a millionaire. And then that exploded, So.
Yes, I guess for me, it'd be the real estate market after that, because right when I started getting a little bit of money, the real estate market shot up and then blew up and then fell apart.
Yeah.
I guess different generations, you look at it, have different ways of making their money that the older generations look at and say, I don't think that's right. I'm not going to do that. But it does take an entrepreneur.
How much of that comes from just tapping into the youth and the excitement of these young kids thinking, "Oh, I can make $1 million. I can make $1 million." And older guys or older people say, "You know what? I've seen it too. Maybe not to what you're talking about, but I've seen the same thing. It doesn't work that way."
I think that's what it is. It's the youth and inexperience. And I think that leads a lot of people, down that path of, well, I don't know how to run a business, but I can do this. And it's kind of trial by fire. So maybe they create their own businesses by inadvertently starting programs on TikTok and whatnot. And it just kind of grows from there, because if nobody tells you no, it's not necessarily wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think too that a lot of people confuse luck with knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like so many of the videos I watch, these kids basically put, like this one kid put his entire college, his dad gave him money to go to college. He put the entire amount of money onto one stock play, and it happened to pay off. And I'll give him that. It happened to pay off. But he took that as, oh, see, I'm an expert now. Look what I did. And it's
Yeah.
like, you got lucky. You got lucky.
And I think that
maybe
like
go
kids
ahead.
like that will always catch up with them at some point.
Maybe.
It will always that's the kind of karmic retribution that it will always catch up with them. Like you can't brag about that, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, how often can we say that about almost anything? Just because you were lucky and you didn't get in a car crash doesn't mean you don't have to wear a seatbelt.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You know what I mean?
I agree completely.
Just because you were lucky and when you went rock climbing, you didn't fall off the mountain, doesn't mean that you're just an expert now. You don't need to wear a harness and you don't need to be safe.
Oh, God, ain't that the truth?
So these videos and stuff. If he can turn something into it, which he probably can, because he is kind of that kind of mindset where everything's an opportunity. You're constantly growing. If you're not moving, you're dying, and he'll take it and do something with it. And maybe he'll turn it into something. I wouldn't know how to do it, but
well, I hope he does. And I'm curious to follow this path and see what happens with it. I think it'd be a good time. But
I just want to be famous for doing something that doesn't require me hitting someone in the face or getting hit in the face.
Well, I'm glad you put that caveat on there, but unfortunately, I think if we want to make Liquid Courage worldwide,
one of us has to get hit in the face.
One of us has to get hit in the face.
Wow.
And the logical choice would be there really is no logical choice. You have a beautiful face. It shouldn't.
Hey, I think what we should do is whoever buys the beers, the other person holds it. How's that?
Ooh. All right, that's fair.
Hold my beer.
What's the worst that could happen?
someone can't handle. Oh, I don't think I can drink anymore, Scotty. I don't think I can drink anymore. Hold my beer for me. Okay. Get back in the game. Sorry.
Hey,
that
man.
was a fun time. That was fun.
Hey,
I wish. Why couldn't someone have recorded that?
Because JP was busy texting someone.
And put that onto the. We might have been famous for "Hold My Beer."
We might have been.
A catchphrase.
Here, hold my beer. Damn it! See, we missed the boat.
Well, and just to circle back, part of the fame that people want, we look at like a Michael Jordan, we look at LeBron James, any sports person who's the best at what they do, and we don't see the countless hours that they are working on their craft every day, all day, sacrificing other things to focus on that discipline.
Oh, I agree.
That, so when we see these people like Warren Buffett is the same way. He has been patiently, consistently investing for 65, 70 years. The same way. He found a system that works for him. He didn't deviate from that system. He didn't say, oh, you know what, I'm going to try this fast, new, quick, easy thing. Consistency. And so, the thing about people's success is that in most cases, it doesn't happen just fluky. I put $40,000 down and I made $1 million. Most of the time, the people that we respect a lot is he spent his life building the foundation of success that he lives on, not just a quick hit, easy money kind of scheme.
Yeah, that's true.
So punching someone in the face will only give you 15 minutes, but if you want 15 hours, you got to do it many times. You got to do it many times punching someone in the face. Yeah,
that's true. So as we wrap this up, have you fallen for a get-rich-quick scheme? If so, where have you found it? Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. If you have a get-rich-quick scheme for our EP, Tom, hit him up on Twitter and Instagram at liquid_EP. He's going to be really upset that this is a total old man episode, and he's going to let us have it.
I will say this, though. My true feeling is that if someone is really a success, they'll be more than happy to give you their advice for free.
Oh, absolutely.
They won't charge you for how to make money. They won't. They will say,
what's the old expression?
Go ahead.
Free advice is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or take it for what it's worth. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that being said, Jason, take us home.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. We really appreciate you guys. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some liquid carnage.